Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon.
Hey, we want to shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con. If you are a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of comic book conventions, and if you like meeting comic book creators and getting comics and comic-related stuff, then you need to make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con. This year's show is September 7th and 8th. Silverline will be there, so you should make your plans to be there too. We'll see you there. If you like comics and find yourself in the Orlando, Florida area, doesn't everyone come to Orlando at some point in time to see the House of Mouse? But when you're here, you need to make it a point to visit Coliseum of Comics, especially the one on East Colonial Drive. They carry Silverline comics, even a limited edition Coliseum of Comics version of our comics. So, when you go, be sure to ask for Silverline Comics and tell them we sent you. OCD stands for Orlando Collector Deviants. OCD, Steve and Trish, they're a family of geeks who promote geek things, particularly those around the Orlando, Florida area. They're big supporters of Silverline, and we think you should be supporters of theirs too. Go give them some love. If you are an independent comic book maker and you need to get your independent comics made, you need to look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our books, and they do a bang-up job. They're not only trusted by Silverline, but many, many independent comic book makers. Head on over to kablam.com and see for yourself just how easy it is to have your comic printed by them. And tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
Hi, I'm Barb Gelber, co-host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham. Join us each Wednesday night as we discuss comics, literature, movies, and anything else that may catch our attention.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Welcome to Silverline Silver Sunday on this Sunday, December the 15th, 2024. And we've got a visit from a really young Santa Claus, it looks like here.
Yeah, I haven't got the gray in my beard yet.
I'm your host, I'm Roland Man, and I'm excited to talk with you this week. I am joined, as usual, by the guy in the chair, Mr. Tom Mason.
Hi, everybody.
And also by Mr. Mike W. Belcher, that man in the mask guy.
I'm very envious of Tommy's beard, so
I
try to represent us short guys.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days, then it grows out. Really.
Are you allowed to use electronics?
yeah, we got all kind of electronic stuff.
Only when the warden's not looking.
He's got a wooden keyboard.
And of course, last but not least, we are joined by Mr. Thomas Florimonte Jr., all dressed up and nowhere to go.
Snow.
No kidding.
Somebody's in the holiday spirit.
Yeah, I'm ready.
We might have the wrong topic.
We might. In fact, I was talking to BJ a little bit earlier, and I said, I think I'm going to change our topic for not next week, but the week after. And we'll just kind of have us a little Christmas party, and we invite all the Silverliners, anyone who wants to make it. It'll be the Sunday after the Christmas party. After Christmas, but we can still have a Christmas party.
Sure.
And
anytime it's a good time for a party.
Yep. Is that your what? Boy, you're having problems with your hair there, Tommy.
What's going on? This is the best Christmas special ever.
Well, since Roberta's not here to color, we'll just have to keep it like this.
That's right.
Oh,
what? Good Lord! What the heck happened?
What? Yeah, what happened?
Where'd Santa go?
There we go. I need to put the hat back on.
Right.
So, by way of news, everyone should have your Teen Beatles in your hands already. Those went out. All of those went out last week. Haven't really seen anyone posting about them. So if you got your Teen Beetle, post us some pictures. Let us know that you got them. Let us know how cool you think the foil covers are. And you've got just a couple of days left to back Beyond the Stars number 4 here. And you can get this gorgeous foil cover. The only way to get it is to back the campaign, is to get this beautiful cover. You can see here, it's just awesome.
Is that the issue where they kill Darth Vader?
Darth Vader dies in this one, and I think there's it chops off a hand in this one too.
That's right.
That's
Silverline leaders exposed.
Whoever orders the cover that I did the inking on, if you tell Roland, I'll be more than happy to sign it and send it on. That'd be like an extra little bonus Christmas present for you.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
I tell Roland though, because I'm just not going to be willy nilly signing them all, because some people don't want them signed. But
that is Christmas magic right there.
These things are just. Printed by Kablam, of course. These things are just gorgeous.
What's the inside of that one look like?
It's just a dummy. This is not the actual thing.
Don't dummy shame.
We're not looking at the inside.
Oh, the new one that I sent you the other day, it just had normal stuff on the inside. Did you get that one?
I did.
That sounds like a trick to me.
It did.
No, I couldn't find any dirty books, so I just sent regular.
Oh no, it's the clean one, Roland. You'll be just open up in a crowd. It's fine.
Yeah, that's what Tommy always tells me. So, you got just a couple of days to back that. Get in on that. We've made goal. So now is your opportunity. Again, the only time you can get these special foils is to back the crowdfunder. So get on that. Twilight Grim, I don't have it pulled up here, but ordering through your local comic shop, Twilight Grim number 3, I think, is what's in the current catalog. So be sure you order that through your comic shop. Get them to order 2. Tell them you believe in the product so much you want one for yourself, and you're going to want one to put on the shelf because someone will pick it up.
Also, it's vampires, vampire hunting, romance,
and they're not sparkly.
No, they're not. These are old school, old fashioned, wooden stake through the heart.
I want to suck your blood.
I don't.
Yeah, they're not sparkly.
It's not Sesame Street. Chocula?
Not Count Chocula. Nope.
No Count Chocula either.
No count. 1.
That's right.
2.
All you fans of.
Hey, it ain't your father's Sesame Street vampire either.
That's true. No, that's true. Yeah, I forgot about him. Let's see. We already got a couple comments here. Woody M says he became a YouTube member. Cool, Woody. Glad to see you here again. I think we saw Woody last week for the first time.
We did. Although I liked his name when it was Woodham. I think that was a funnier pronunciation.
Well, I don't always know what they are when I see them. Right. And so I just kind of have to guess at them. But
Woody M makes more sense, but I think Woodham sounds like a Bill Mantlo character.
Woodham, yeah. Pop says, "Hey yo," and says, "If you would like to bring your show to or become a sponsor of the Madness Entertainment Group LLC, please contact us at Madness Comic on X, Pops Van Zant on Facebook, Pops at themeg.tv." Oh, look at this. Kasisi says, "Hello all." What's up, Kasisi? Hey, if you're feeling if you're well fed tonight, Kasisi, come on and join us. Jump in tonight and join us. Yeah.
You don't have to hide in the comments.
I just saw what the subject was when I logged in, so I don't know what I'm going to say.
Yeah. So tonight's subject is thank you, Tommy, for lobbing me that.
Nice
softball.
segue.
We are talking about support characters tonight, and we're just going to cover anything we want to talk about in support characters. But basically, this is the characters that help make your primary go. Right? Batman has his. You could say Robin is the support staff, but he's got Alfred. He's got the police guy.
He's got Commissioner Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon, right?
And then in the TV show, he's got that crazy.
Not sidekicks. You're talking about supporting people.
Support staff. Yeah.
Support staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like Bucky
No. Yeah. Or the Falcon, right?
or the Falcon.
Yeah. No. Yeah, these are support staff, right? As Tom let us know here, the guy in the chair, right?
Yeah, guy in the chair.
There's always the guy in the chair. Rory, Royal Airships, what's up, Rory? Good to see you here. He says comedic relief is cute.
Use your words, Roland.
I promise there's only Coca-Cola in this. He says comedic relief is crucial. I agree. I agree that your story has to have some elements of that to help keep your story going. And there are shadows on Mike's wall behind him.
Wouldn't you like to know?
He's
dancing over there.
You know, Mike is heavily influenced by Alex Toth and Matt Wagner and all the others. So
there were
it seems
shadows
natural
on his wall, and Mike was doing this right here.
That's the start of a good horror movie, by the way.
Halloween time again.
Yeah. What other before we launch into kind of what support staff, what characters and their support staff can we think of? What about Superman? What's his support staff?
Well, he's got
staff, but
in the old days, he used to sit around and talk to those little guys in the bottle, City of Candor. And he'd go, hey, how you little people doing down there? No, but he had, you could say that Lois Lane is kind of a support person because because it depends. Because when Superman becomes Clark Kent, his support people are really Jimmy and Lois.
Yeah.
Right.
And so he can get information from them as if they're sort of the unwilling or unwitting guy in the chair characters,
right?
Because they don't know they're helping Superman, but they're doing it anyway. So as Clark Kent, I would say Lois and Jimmy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What about Perry White? Is he a little bit of a look at that. David Ace Gutierrez, what's up, David? He says Perry White.
But is he that guy, or is he more like Morgan Edge and J. Jonah Jameson, where he's more like an antagonist than he's
I know that.
Yeah, I mean, he might give information, but it would be unwitting in a sense because he's Clark's boss, and he's more like a boss trope.
Yeah. Who else?
Foggy Nelson.
That's Daredevil. Well, I was going to go to Clark's parents.
Oh, okay.
Ma and Pa Kent, right? Mm-hmm. I think they're a bit of a his support staff there. And I say staff, but you know what I mean,
right? And so, in the movies, doesn't he go up to the ice cave and get to talk to the hologram of Marlon Brando?
Jor-El. Yeah. Marlon Brando. The Jor-El, right? He gets to talk to Jor-El, which is dad and stepdad, I guess.
Right. So that's sort of like the hologram doctor on Star Trek.
Yeah. All right. So Daredevil.
Foggy Nelson.
Yeah. What about what was her name?
Karen
Page. Yeah.
Karen Page. More like the girlfriend trope, I think.
Yeah, love interest.
Love interest. Yeah.
She didn't start off that way, though, did she?
She was a secretary, but in those '60s comics, you knew what was happening. That was the tolerable for the boys. So they went, ooh, girl.
Right.
But she was still going to be the love interest.
Oh,
Elektra.
Yeah.
Villain.
Stick
Elektra
from Daredevil.
Yeah. The guy who teaches him, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going through a list here. So Iron Man, I guess Pepper Potts would be a supporting character, right?
Which is interesting because she was a girlfriend trope early.
Yeah.
And then sort of like the girl he can't have, and then she more or less as she grew and as different writers came on board, she became more of a guy in the chair character.
Yeah. Because
he then marries the bodyguard.
Right. That's
Yeah.
Um, let's see.
What
I'm trying to-
about Spider-Man?
Well, here's the interesting thing.
And
Yeah.
In the
Let's hear it.
movies, he's got the guy in the chair.
He does.
And I think in the movies, the current movies, the one with Tom Holland, I think they do great with him as the guy in the chair. I think that's a great trope that even pokes fun at him being the guy in the chair.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
what's funny is if you read the early Spider-Man comics that are all Ditko, Spider-Man has no one to talk to. There's no guy in the chair. And if
No.
you read a lot of them in a row, what you realize is that, man, Spider-Man needs a therapist
Yeah.
because he is just
Well-
it's just one neurotic mess after another.
Well, so at the risk of straying too far, do you think that's part of why Spider-Man was so popular at the time? Because he was just really one lonely dude.
Yes.
I mean,
And I think-
he had this power, he had this responsibility, but he was lonely.
Much like Steve Ditko apparently was too, where he lived by himself in that little apartment and just drew and never really saw anybody and nobody took his picture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It seems like it's very Ditko-y. And also I think one of the things that comics can do that movies don't do is that comics in those days had thought balloons.
Yeah.
And so they had a lot of inner monologue that would really be tedious on screen.
Yes.
You need a guy in the chair. But in the comics, you have thought balloons or thought captions or whatever, and you can go inside the guy's head.
Yeah, I think we mentioned this before. I think for comics, one of the primary reasons that solo characters are difficult is because they need that. They need somebody, right, so that they can have a dialogue with and help tell the story, right?
Right.
We have to be careful not to show don't tell, but they've got to tell the story.
Because otherwise, it's not much fun seeing Batman hunched on a rooftop going, "Nighttime. Gotham is where I live. I'm Batman." So it's,
Yeah.
but if he's sitting up on the roof and Robin's going, "Hey, Batman, why are we up on the roof? What are you doing?"
Right. Yeah. Shut up, Robin. You talk
Shut
to
up,
me.
Robin. I'm going to throw you into danger.
Who are you talking to?
I'm going to throw you into Joker right now.
Yeah. Rory says all of the X-Men are just support for each other.
Well,
Yes, kind of true.
That's what I think it is. It's like the biggest AA meeting where they're all which is actually pretty cool because every one of them has a different sort of mental health issue.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
they're actually all there for each other.
Yeah.
With certain reservations.
I would actually kind of argue that ensemble casts don't need the guy in the chair in the same way that solo characters do.
Right.
Yes, because they do have each other.
They have each other. Yeah, they
And
have.
I would say that you could, depending on how it's written, you could flop the guy in the chair role from character to character.
Yes,
Sure.
absolutely. They're all depending on whose story you're telling, depending
Yes.
on what's happening. Each of them can, in varying stories, play that role.
Yes.
But when
How
you got a Batman, Batman needs the guy in the chair.
Yes. And sometimes Alfred has to put on the bat suit and drive the Batmobile.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I watched about the first 15-20 minutes of Lego Batman again the other day.
Oh, the
My-
best Batman.
Man, that is so good. My daughter is here, for it's Christmas, and I said, so I put it on and started watching it. I said, "Have you seen this?" And she looked at me. She goes, "Yes, Daddy, I've seen it with you." I said, "We can watch it again, can't we?" She said, "Yes, but not right now." I said, "Well, we have to at least get through this first scene because
Yeah.
I really like that first scene."
No, it's beautiful because if you know nothing about Batman, it's still a great movie.
It is.
And if you know everything about Batman, it doesn't insult you.
And no,
It's not.
and there's so many Easter eggs in it.
Oh, and it comes fast and furious. Like there's
Yes.
stuff coming at you all the time.
It's so fast. Yeah. From the opening moment, black, because all movies begin with black. and then he quotes Michael Jackson. Woo. Batman or Michael Jackson. No, Batman. Batman said that.
And it also is. It's one of the. I think it's the best movie iteration of Robin
Yeah. I think
and the
so
Robin
too.
story. So
Yeah.
I stand tall with Lego Batman.
Yeah, I do too. I second that. David Hayes Gutierrez says, which character has the best supporting cast, and is it Archie?
Yeah, because he's got two girlfriends.
Yep.
He's got a scientist, Dilton Doily. He's got Moose, the big guy. He's got
Yep.
Reggie.
Jughead.
He's got Jughead, who's the best friend of everybody.
Yeah.
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 You could also make the case that Archie's just Popeye.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
So
I've never heard that before. I like that.
yeah. They just put olive oil into two women, but it's got
Yeah.
Jughead is Wimpy. Moose Malloy is Bluto.
Yeah.
Reggie is I forget who Popeye's human nemesis was,
Yeah.
but it'll come to me. It's not Ham Gravy. It's probably it might be Sea Hag or some stupid thing like that.
I always loved the way in the cartoons when they got in a fight, it was just this big cloud.
Oh yeah,
And you could see a leg poke out, a hand poke out. Occasionally a neck would stick out with hands around them, and then go back into the cloud.
that's the best.
Yeah.
What I would love to see is some smart internet kid do a diagram of what the inside of that ball of smoke looks like.
Yeah. That would be great. Who else? What are some other solo kids, solo characters?
You have the Spirit with Commissioner Dolan.
Yeah, Commissioner Dolan. Yeah.
And depending on your, Ebony or Sammy, and then Ellen being the love interest.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I forget, but I think that Commissioner Dolan is mostly on the Spirit side, right?
Mostly. Well, actually, he's completely on the side because, he's in on who the Spirit really is.
Right. He's in on the secret. He knows.
He's
So
in on the secret.
I think it's
he's
one
the
of
guy that's feeding him stuff that he needs to know.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I grew up on TV shows like Starsky and Hutch or whatever, where the cop was always the antagonist of the main character, and they were always at odds. It's like, oh, you've gone too far. But Commissioner Dolan was not like that. Commissioner Dolan is really one of the first sort of supportive cop characters of the hero.
Of the vigilante, right?
Of the vigilante hero. Because in most shows, especially TV, the cop is always you gotta stop doing that. I'm gonna haul you in. You've gone too far.
You've gone too far.
You crossed the line.
You crossed the line. Look, I'm gonna have to pull your gun permit.
Yeah.
No, so I don't know why the Spirit can't be a TV show.
I'm right there with you.
Just throwing that out there. Like if the guys who made Justified, if they can't make Mike's show, The Man in the Mask, then they really ought to go to the Spirit.
And oddly enough, somebody needs to call me because I got a heck of a pitch for that.
There
It's
you
been
go.
in my head for 10 years. I'm not kidding you.
I've
got it mapped out. Yeah,
You talking about for Man in the Mask?
No, for the Spirit.
Oh, for the Spirit.
I got the Spirit for Man in the Mask.
Yeah.
I've got a great one of these days.
Well, have any of you seen the TV show Person of Interest?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great show.
Oh, it's fantastic. Listen, I make the argument that's just Batman.
That is Batman.
It's Batman.
It's Batman.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about that show that's great. Is the first season is just like a really good show.
Yes.
And then it becomes like a really great show.
Yes.
Like
they start building the mystery of it and stuff.
When they move away from sort of the cop, you've gone too far, I can't protect you element, and they get into we're gonna fight crime.
Yes.
Then it's like, and they bring in the two women. I can't think of their names.
Amy Acker.
Yeah, Amy Acker and Sarah Shahi.
Yeah, that's it.
They elevate that show. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like here it's already at a high level, but then it's just like it's off the charts great.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember we loved that show, watching it. And I remember, I can't remember if it was the end of the first season or into the second season. I turned around and looked at my wife. I said, this is just Batman.
Yeah.
It's just Batman without the costume.
Yeah. I argue, I think I've said it here before, I argue that Die Hard is a Bruce Wayne movie.
Oh, yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
Also a Christmas movie, but also a Bruce Wayne movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Person of Interest is great, and I think almost any comic book fan who picks it up with season 2 would find satisfaction there.
I think so too. I remember when we were watching it, I used to recommend it to anyone who would listen to me.
Well, you could tell the guy behind the scenes is a comic book fan. I mean,
absolutely.
Jonathan. He co-wrote the Dark Knight one, the in between. Bell movie. Yeah.
And what's interesting is that, and I this is what's fascinating to me, is you take a show like Mutant X, which came on years ago in syndication, and it's like, well, we want to do a superhero movie, but they can't really have costumes because they can't afford it, so we'll just put everybody in leather pants or whatever. We don't really have special effect budget, so we're just going to give them like little tiny powers, like mental powers, where they just stare at something for a while, whatever. But then it takes a guy like him to come along and say, I'm still going to do a superhero movie, but I'm going to disguise it as a cop show. So it's got all the superhero tropes with all the cop tropes, and it's this great mix of both.
Yeah.
So because if you sit down and you tell somebody who watches NCIS, oh, you got to watch this, it's a superhero show, they'll say, no, I'm not going to watch that. It's a superhero show. But if you tell them it's a cop show, they won't catch on that it's a superhero show.
That's right. Yeah. Cassisi said, didn't they try the movie a while ago and it flopped, talking about the spirit?
Well, that's because they did 2 of them, didn't they? They did a Frank Miller one.
They did one with Sam J. Jones in the 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that was terrible.
And then you had Frank Miller's version. I prefer the Sam J. Jones was, as far as a story.
Yeah.
Usually, if you watch Frank Miller's with the volume down, you can enjoy it. I can enjoy it. But if you turn the volume up, because visually it's got some Eisner nods to it.
Yeah.
But when you get the story, it's like Eisner, Eisner wouldn't have wrote this. I mean, no. But the same thing, that one's it's a tolerable plot. It's a tolerable plot.
Yeah.
Jackson Rennick says, "What's up, Jackson? Good to see you hanging out with us here, man. We got to get you on one of these streams." He says, "Person of Interest also had Bat Hound."
Yes, it did.
It did, yeah.
It aced the Bat.
So, yeah, making me want to go rewatch that now.
Yeah, see, there's some holiday viewing for you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. David Rios. David says, "Hi, all. What's up, David?" David's another Silverliner, one of our par excellente colorist.
He's Tuesday crew, isn't he?
He's with the Tuesday group. Yep. That Silverline show on Tuesday. And Cassisi, of course, is on the Wednesday show.
What?
Yeah.
We have guests. This is like a crossover episode.
It is. I wonder if they heard me teasing a Christmas episode for everybody.
That's right. They want to get in. They want to make sure they get an invitation.
Yeah. What did he say?
Said, I hope I get invited.
That's right. So what other comic books can we think about? Comic characters can we think about that have support staff? What about Wonder Woman? I don't know that much about her, but
she had Etta Candy.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that name.
That's about it.
And Plastic Man had Woozy Winks.
Yeah.
Which is like the greatest character name ever.
Yeah.
Well, Alan Scott Green Lantern had Dobie Dickles.
Oh, that's right. Because that was the thing too in the Golden Age, where it's like, I got a really interesting hero. I need to get him a stupid sidekick.
Right.
Somebody right out of the Dead End Kids or Little Rascals.
Yeah.
What you doing, Plastic Man?
Rascals. We watched a couple of episodes of Little Rascals the other day. Man, I love the Little Rascals.
Those are great. Did they feel like going to school? Sometimes they don't feel like going to school.
Well, they rarely feel like that. Oh man, one of the best ones though is where it has a step and fetch it. You remember that one where they make taffy in the house, and of course they make a great big mess at taffy.
Like a Stooges version of taffy.
Yeah, and he comes along, and of course he's got like 15 layers on, and he walks around in the house, and he puts his hand on the house, and his glove sticks. He just pulls his hand out of it, leaves the glove on the wall, and he's got another glove on. Right?
It's a great gag.
Then he goes over and gets into the into like a barn, right?
Right.
And Farina hands him mail, and he says something about it's from your sweetheart. Oh no, let me see that. And it's from so and so, and then he opens it up, and Farina's what does it say? He goes, "Don't you be looking at that." And then he goes, "Here, you read this for me. I don't read so well at the night because I went to night school."
It's like a Stooges gag.
And then Farina starts reading it, and it starts getting romantic. And then he makes Farina plug his ears while he reads it.
Jeez.
Sorry, it's hilarious. Agent Koepp says, out of the four of you, who's the main character and who's the supporting character?
Well, tonight I'm a supporting character.
Yeah, I think it switches, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it
Right
does.
there.
Yeah, I think it does. Depends on what we're talking about usually.
Yeah, because I would say on the Matt Wagner show and on the Flash Gordon show, I can't think of that guy's name now. Mike Belcher was the main character.
Yeah, Dan Scotty.
And we were all the supporting cast.
Yep.
So I think it just we sort of rotate.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Agent Koepp, it's good to see you here before 9:05.
Ask a question, really?
Yeah, ask your question now.
Oh.
Go ahead. What?
No, this is good. This is great.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I
David
do like
Rio
that one.
says, wouldn't Bruce Wayne be considered Terry McGinnis's Batman Beyond support staff?
Definitely the guy in the chair.
But in a different way too, because he's more of the mentor man in the chair.
Yeah.
And so that's great.
Yeah. Agent says it's 6:31 here. 6:31. You must be in Mountain Time, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not California.
Not quite out west, but not quite California.
Right.
The one on the other side of Central.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, can we think of anybody else?
What about Flash Thompson? Because what about some of the support characters that become big? Like, didn't Flash become Venom at some point?
Agent Venom.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea past that name.
Wow, that came out like you were. I would never have gotten that.
Yeah, me either.
I'm good at reading solicitations in the catalog.
That's it. I don't read comics anymore. I just read the Diamond catalog.
Not interested. Next.
I'm trying to remember who was the first person that the Venom thing got into. What was that person's name?
Spider-Man's costume.
Eddie Brock.
Eddie Brock. There you go. Right. Yeah.
But it was Spider-Man at first. Spider-Man was the first one. Yeah.
But he wasn't Venom.
He was the talking suit or whatever.
Yeah. It was already bad, right?
Yeah. But yeah, then it was Eddie Brock, and then I have no idea beyond that. Yeah, Agent Koepp says Peter Parker was first.
Yeah.
That's right. So, all right. So it sounds like we've exhausted some of the main characters. What do you think when you're thinking about support staff? What do you feel is necessary? And keep in mind, we're not talking about an ensemble cast. We're not talking about the Justice League or the X-Men or the Avengers, right? Because they kind of all got each other. But if you're talking about a solo character, right, like a Batman, like a Spider-Man, what kind of character do you think is important for the primary character?
Well, they need the support first, and they need to be just as interesting as the main character without taking the same amount of camera space.
Yeah.
So you have to have a story there waiting for them.
Yeah.
But they have to be there in a supportive manner for the hero to talk, issues, plans. And so they have to be good listeners, or they have to be something. But again, they can't overshadow the main character.
And ideally, I think if you're telling a confined story, so it's 6 issues or 4 issues or whatever, you want the subplot. If there's a separate subplot with the secondary character, you want that to sort of tie into the main plot before your series is over.
Yeah.
So that way you can drop hints along the way that, stick with this because these 2 threads that seem like they're not going to relate at all, we're going to pull that together for you.
Yeah.
It kind of seems like they're mostly there for the main character that gets stumped on something, and then they say something just out of the blue, because they're the secretary doing something, and the guy goes, "Oh yeah, you're right," and then
That's right.
you're able to figure
Look,
out,
you filed these papers wrong. What? File?
Wrong.
That's it.
wrong. That's the answer. Like, oh,
Let's see. Davis said basically reverse color Venom, white with black. Cassisi says there needs to be a natural connection between the two.
Yeah.
There has to be a reason for their presence.
Exactly.
Agent Koepp
to move the
says,
story along.
yeah, someone who supports the main character like Aunt May and Peter Parker.
Well, Aunt May only made pie and got in trouble. That was
Yeah.
And got beat up a lot.
Well, and you know,
Yeah.
she was often, you know, Pete was often, or Spider-Man was often having to
Saving
protect
her.
her. Yeah,
Right.
to
Yeah,
save
she
Aunt
was-
May.
also
She
because
was the threat of danger. She was the one not necessarily
Right.
the line of fire, but she was always sick, or she always needed some miracle drug or treatment that was going to save her life.
also
Yeah.
she was always marrying the villain too, which
Yeah,
is
she was.
Right. And I remember the big Doc Octopus
Yeah.
wedding.
with this ring, Ivy Webb.
Yeah.
When- Because I think it depends. To get back to your actual question, I
Yeah.
think it depends a lot on everything Mike said, absolutely, and also it depends on what kind of story you're telling. Because when you say stuff like when you say stuff like this, Roland, when you say something like, "Is this necessary?" Well, it is kind of necessary in a certain type of story, but it's really just a tool in the toolbox that you pull out and go, "Oh, I wonder if I need a man in the chair. Oh, I wonder if I need a sidekick. Oh, I wonder if I need,
Yeah.
my secret identity. Oh, I wonder if I would." So as you plot out your story, you sort of figure out what you can pull from the column to put in there.
And I think that's the key to it, is that it has to serve the story, right?
Right.
And a lot of times the reason you need that support character or characters is because a solo, like we said earlier at the top of the hour, you don't want to just see Batman sitting there, looking out over the city doing nothing, right?
Right.
Or just a bunch of well, back in the day, thought bubbles, or in modern time, a bunch of captions, right?
Right.
You can get away with that limited wise, but if you don't want, I don't want to read 6 issues of that, right?
No.
And so for me, I would sum it up and say your primary character needs someone that could talk about the story too,
Because
right?
and you can always tell when that character has been shoehorned in by somebody else. It's like the fun example of this is The Simpsons, where they got Poochie the dog,
Yeah.
because the network note was the Simpsons need to have a dog, and so they brought in Poochie, and then they sent Poochie off. They made fun of it because it didn't fit into the show, and then they had him carried off by aliens because he was an alien all along. And I think the audience is fairly hip to the idea of like they just stuck that in there because somebody told them to. Like I wouldn't go. Let's say in the imaginary world, I'm the editor
Right.
of Man in the Mask. I wouldn't go to Mike and say, "Hey, Mike, you know what would really make this comic sell? He needs to be a cat guy, and he needs 2 pet cats." And so, because that's not, it wouldn't fit the story.
No.
And Mike would hate it because it violates everything he's trying to set up, and the audience would know it right away. It's like somebody told Mike to put cats in his comic book.
Yeah.
And so I think that's you really got to figure out where these things can fit organically,
Yeah.
which I think
Yeah.
is something that one of the commenters said, and something that I think Tommy and Mike have said.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, if you think about, and I'm not going to say this works for every show, but if you think about a lot of the cop shows, which is kind of what we talked about, there's almost always a rookie or there's a new guy, right? Someone transferring from one department to another department where you've got your unit, but then there's a new addition, and that new addition,
Oh,
the
brilliant
role
thing.
is I got to explain what's happening to
The point of view character.
right? And really, what that is like I'm telling the viewer this is what's happening, but I'm telling this other character over here. So I'm not telling the viewer, I'm telling this new guy, right? Here's what's happening, or I'm telling the rookie, right, or the person transferred in.
Because it's a good way to show how the dynamic of the squad room works.
Yeah.
Or the newsroom, or the bar or wherever
Right.
you set your show.
Yeah.
Because in Cheers, it was Diane who was the new character.
Yeah.
And in cop shows, it's usually the guy who just got transferred or the rookie
Right.
who just graduated from the academy. And
Mhm.
they team him up with the just about to be retired guy.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. and the retired guy or the veteran is always complaining. Why?
Oh, yeah.
Why you saddle me with the rookie? Right.
Right. I'm only 3 days from retirement. I don't have time for this.
I'm too old for this.
Yeah. Agent Koepp said, like Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, and Johnny Storm support the main character of the thing.
Like Easy Company supports Sergeant Rock.
Yeah. Yep. Jackson Rennick says Mike's going to sneak a cat into his backgrounds now.
I've done devious. I planted the seed.
That's
Now
right.
Actually, we should come up with the cat in the mask.
Oh,
There we go.
Yeah, because you can't do the cat in a hat.
No, you can't.
That wouldn't work.
No.
Right. David, say again.
It's coming next year.
That's right.
Got the mask.
David Rio says, would Edsel and Sean Knight qualify as support staff for Kevin Matchstick?
Yes.
We go now to our Matt Wagner expert.
Very much so. I think David is on the same mind of mine. It's defined in the book who they really are, what they represent. So they are his support and two different points of view. So yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Also, David Rios has 2 great questions tonight. So he's definitely coming to the Christmas party.
Yeah. Yeah, check your email, David. Cassisi says we missed April O'Neil for the Turtles.
Oh.
Or maybe Casey Jones. Yeah.
I
think. Go ahead.
I would say about April O'Neil is that she has a dual function in that she is the support character, but she also is their connection to the outside world.
Yeah.
Because she can move, she can basically move above ground freely without anybody going, hey, that's a talking turtle.
That's a turtle.
So she can get answers and do things that they can't do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. You should, because I know all the comic book geeks understand, but in my class, sometimes students will start talking about the Turtles and I'll say something about Daredevil and they'll say, what's the connection to Daredevil? I'm like, what do you mean? What's the connection? So then I go through the origin with the toxic chemicals and spilling. And I said, Daredevil had the hand. The Turtles have the foot. Daredevil has
same
stick.
powers. They're all basically the same.
Yeah, all martial arts, right?
Yeah.
Daredevil's teacher was Stick. The Turtles' teacher was
the Rat.
Yeah, but
Master
he has
Master Splinter.
Splinter,
Yeah.
Splinter, right? So Stick, Splinter,
Yeah.
and it's like they're like, you can just see their minds are just blown.
So that's when your class turns into a comic shop on Saturday afternoons.
Also, stylistically, it's got the steam coming out of the sewer drains. It's got the shots of the cityscapes with the water towers.
The darker side of the city for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agent Koepp says, "Are the elves supporting characters for Santa, or are they more like slaves?"
They're the Oompa Loompas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but without the elves, would there be a Santa Claus?
He would just have to work overtime.
It'd be really short.
Wait,
trip
stop.
To deliver one thing.
We're talking. Wait, stop. Time out. Hold these thoughts, because next week we're talking about Santa Claus. So no Santa talk tonight.
Come on, it's all the words are backed up in my head now.
Yeah. What a great image, Tom.
It's like a Tex Avery cartoon.
Are right here.
Well, yeah, they're waiting. They're all jammed up now. They're all scrambled up, and they're rushed to get out.
Agent Koepp says, did they ever do a Turtles and Daredevil crossover?
I don't think so.
I'm not aware of one. If they did,
that's almost like double Turtles.
Batman.
They did do Turtles Batman.
Yeah,
which is a great comic. Jim Chadwick, I think, was the editor on that one.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't seen that one.
It was a good one, by the way.
Yeah. Chadwick oversaw it.
Also, I think because the thing about Turtles and Batman is that they're opposites, because the Turtles are sort of goofy and fun, and Batman is sort of not fun.
Yeah.
So there's a very antagonistic approach between the two sides.
Yeah, Batman's so serious. Because isn't that what Joker said? Why so serious?
Why so serious?
Agent Koepp says, use all those backed up words as a pillow.
I take melatonin for my my pillow.
Hey, does that work? Does that help you sleep?
It does.
Yeah. My wife's got some of that. She tells me I need to try some of it. She goes, this will help you sleep. I'm like, really?
Here's the thing that they don't tell you about is that, and I know this from a couple
You
of
could end up at McDonald's in the middle of the night if you're not
now
careful.
you get what happens is you get very intense full color dreams.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
So keep my notepad handy.
Keep it. Yes.
Yeah. Huh.
So
Did not know that.
I did not know that either. Yeah.
you'll know if you take it like 2 or 3 nights in a row, you'll know.
Man, what's and I realize we're saying here, what's bad is that I've been playing softball the last couple months, and
What have you broken?
I haven't broken anything. But I forget she's giving me something to help. But boy, those first couple of weeks, man, I was getting leg cramps at night. You talk about painful. You'd be laying there and your leg just, you're like, I can't do anything, right? And it's like, yeah. So
Was it
I forget
glucosamine?
no, I don't think so. I forget what she. I can't yell at her.
Welcome to the Hillbilly Health Hour.
I know, right?
We're your hosts.
Water,
Tom
that will
Rowland.
get rid of your cramp.
We'll be talking about the natural supplements and crypto.
Yeah.
You need to drink water, Roland. That'll help you.
I drink lots of water and lots of Gatorade. The good news here on a positive note, I drank probably about 1/4 of the Coke I was drinking about 3 months ago. So
Yeah, I barely drink any now.
Nah, I don't drink any.
Yeah,
I don't.
I
I haven't stopped it completely. I realize I should, but I decided when I was going, I said, "Look, I'm not gonna, get off of it because the minute I have one, I'll feel guilty, and then I'll just I blew it up." So I'm like, I'm just gonna cut it back, and then I think I have on average about 2 of the little bottles a week now.
It was easier for me to get over the sugar than it was the caffeine. It took me a while to wean off.
It took me a while to get off the caffeine because I was jumpy for like a week and a half, and I thought, what the heck is going on? I was ready to call my doctor or whatever, and then I realized, oh yeah, I stopped caffeine.
Right.
I'll drink a Coke if we go out to eat or something or get a burger. That's it. We don't buy them anymore.
Yeah.
Cut the sugar out. Lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
I didn't realize it until I was started keeping a chart. My doctor September and what was the Tom said Hillbilly Health Hour? Yeah. September 3rd, I weighed 260. Yesterday I weighed 240.
There you go. Yeah.
Nice.
I've lost most of it. I think from cutting back on the sugar and of course being active. But
Right.
Jackson.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're right. Sugar's
evil.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Jackson says pickle juice for leg cramps.
I've heard that.
I have too.
Yeah, the bike folks that I go with, they're all pickle juice, this, that, and the other. I'm like, just get you some electrolytes and drink a lot of water, and you won't get cramp.
Yeah.
I forget. Pickles?
Magnesium.
Magnesium.
Maybe.
No, it's the vinegar in the pickle juice. It's the vinegar. It's the thing. You're not supposed to be drinking that much vinegar. People drinking pickle juices. You know, just turn up a thing of vinegar. It's the same thing as pickle juice. That's what you're drinking is vinegar.
That's those people that drink like the red wine vinegar or the apple cider vinegar or whatever. It's like, what is wrong with you people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to Comic Book Hour. 4 old guys talking about pickle juice.
Hey, where the action is olive oil. Olive oil, it's an acquired taste in the morning, but I tell you, it works.
Really?
It's good for inflammation. It really is. About
drink
4 or 5. No, it's it's like 3 tablespoons, and I put it in a shot glass, and I down it every morning. And it doesn't get better.
With the vodka, it just shoots it. Done with it.
It never gets better, but I'm telling you, I could tell a difference. As far as inflammation.
David Ace Gutierrez says gin helps with pain too.
Also, especially the emotional pain.
Yeah.
So this makes both David's Rios and Gutierrez and Agent Koepp are support characters.
That's right.
Maybe we're their support here.
Agent Koepp says Pickle Juice Man is the supporting characters for humans with leg cramps.
And so he's the national spoke. He's like McGruff the crime dog for leg cramps.
Yeah.
You know those little energy packs that I bring biking? You've
Yeah.
seen them before. Yeah, they got pickle juice packs like that. That are, it's not juice, it's congealed, so it's a whole big dose of it and anything.
When I was
The scam.
When I was at the Charlotte airport,
it all the time. I was like, I don't want no damn pickle juice. Stop.
when I was at the Charlotte, North Carolina airport a couple of days ago, one of the gift shops had a big bowl of pickle juice shots. It's like pickle juice by Mount Olive that comes in a little shot glass.
I see it all over.
On screw top bottle, and you could just down it, I guess, if you're flying and cramped up.
Now I love me some hamburger sour pickles. Now I'm not saying I don't like pickles. Pickles are great, but just drinking the vinegar,
That brine,
It's
no
nice.
way.
it's a little bit disgusting.
Yeah, if you're gonna give me vinegar, you got to hide it in something like a pickle. Or,
Yeah, that's a pickle. It's what it's a vinegar flavored.
yeah.
A pickle flavored vinegar is what you drink.
But also, no one's gonna eat 20 pickles.
Yeah.
That's a lot of.
Hey, future stream health tips for comic creators.
Oh, there you go.
I you just run through them all. Don't sit at your desk.
Walk down a little bit.
Let's see. Jackson says tequila would be the issue's villains. Tequila even
Yeah.
has his own theme music.
Yes, he does, and his own special dance.
That's
So-
right. His sidekick would be the Macarena, right?
It's,
Oh,
no, it'd be Lambada, the forbidden
guy.
dance.
Yeah.
Or would that be his female nemesis?
So back on support characters.
No.
What do they need to let's see.
Yes.
We ran through this a lot faster than I thought we'd talk about.
We had
What
to get
else
to the
was-
pickle part.
Well, we need to ask this question: what are Cat and Mouse's supporting characters, and what do they function in the story?
There we go.
Yeah, so that's I like that question, Mike. Thank you. I'll take that softball. So Cat and Mouse, this first series that's coming out, kind of establishes it all, right? Part of their supporting cast is going to end up being Jesse, who is Brett's friend from school, who is on the police force, right? He's a police officer. It will be Koepp, who is the Japanese karate instructor. She's, without giving it away, she becomes very influential in Mouse's life in New Orleans. And then I would say Demon has to be a supporting character for them.
But does he like being the supporting character?
No, of course not.
Demon feels like the guy who doesn't want to be where he is.
Right. Yes.
That's true of wherever he is. So it's not like
yes. Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
You get off my lawn. Yeah.
Right. He's the get off my lawn of superheroes.
Yeah. He wants to be the Peter Parker Spider-Man. Just everybody leave me alone.
Right. Yeah. I'm just here with my neuroses.
But but everyone keeps dragging him in. And of course he's too good-hearted to say no, but he doesn't want to. Right.
Also, he can fix you if you're hurt.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So can we ask Mike that same question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Mike, what about the Man in the Mask?
Definitely Tommy's go-to guy is Felix, and he basically is the guy that runs the cafe in their little corner of Millerton, but he's also trying to bring the neighborhood back. So Tommy kind of finds a kindred spirit in the idea that Felix is trying to do something for his community to kind of honor everybody that lives there and give it a good place to live.
So that's interesting because both your characters have the same goal, sort of.
Exactly.
but they're coming at it from different sides. One of it's coming from the crime fighting side, and one is from the advocacy side.
Exactly. And Felix is the supporting character only because most, as the hero always takes up the air in the room,
right.
Felix is good to give the advice, but he also has an investment in the idea of, well, Tommy's kind of cruising the rooftops here, helping me make this a livable place.
Right.
So, that's what I wanted to do as far as a guy in the chair, but I wanted his purpose just to be as much as Tommy's. I thought that was a nice little, kind of a symbiotic relationship.
And also, I think it's interesting because as a community advocate, his story couldn't stand alone in the comic book.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not action packed. It's
right.
He's in the position of, and it gives Tommy motivation to help him because there's similar thoughts there.
And it also goes back to what other people have said earlier about how the characters have to come together in an organic way. Mike found an organic way.
Yeah.
And I think Roland did too, with the way he's bunched all his characters together.
Yeah.
Every time you bring Demon into the story, it works. You've got a great. I love Demon. He
thank you.
He worked good in Silverline team up, and he still works as well in Cat and Mouse. And that's a good support character that he can fit in like that.
So let's go to Tommy with Tommy's mini comics. What's up?
Zomboy.
The Zomboy stuff. It's kind of a weird thing because because it all happens in their imagination. They like Renee's character, even though she's the main bad guy, but when she's not the main bad guy, she's playing a support character.
Right.
So is that the same thing? Because when she's not the evil Megamind, she's getting faking that she's getting captured and all this kind of stuff. And then Zomboy has got his little sister and his mom, and the teacher, the main teacher of their class, is always the one that's yanking them back in and like, what do you guys do? So she's playing that character that we were talking about. That's
right.
That keeps the story going a little bit when they're not in their superhero, when they're not playing superhero.
She's also the clock character because the tick tock time is running out.
Right. Yeah. And all of a sudden it's like, it's like the kids are doing whatever it is they're doing. They jump into that imaginary thing. They have the battle, whatever it is that they're doing. And then all of a sudden the bell rings and the teacher's like, why are you guys standing on the desk? So she's my story plot to try to make the reader realize that, well, maybe this is not happening for real. It's happening in their heads, but then how is it also happening for everybody at one time? It's that
right.
Cowboys and Indians syndrome kind of thing. It's not a syndrome, but you know what I'm saying. It's that imaginary world that they play in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they all play together.
It's basically mentally ill kids.
That it is. And the cool part about it, it's all of you guys. So y'all are all mentally ill because I'm doing. Y'all are. The cool part about writing it is I'm not really writing the other characters. I'm just putting what you would say in the books.
Right. Well, I
don't have to write anything. It's like, what would Renee say now? She'd tell me, shut up. And I'm like, this is exactly what she would say.
Like, I haven't been diagnosed already.
Yeah. Well, Tom, so what about, I know most of the folks here remember Dinosaurs for Hire. What about Dinosaurs for Hire?
So Dinosaurs for Hire, basically their support character is their handler, the professor. And so she's ostensibly in charge of 4 dinosaurs as much as one person could be in charge of the 4 dinosaurs. But they rely on her to get them out of trouble.
Yeah.
And to give them assignments and to give them all the support and the tech that they need to get stuff done. So I would say it's her. And it's not as beautifully organic as Mike's is because I created my stuff as a joke and then had to go back and retrofit in a way to make it make sense.
Make it work.
Right. So I didn't come at it from a pure standpoint like you guys, you creative people did. I came at it as the very prankster. And so I was working backwards, post creation, so to speak.
I need a character to say this. Let me see how I can fit it in.
Yes, that's right. Well, it's
Tom's like, I have a joke. Here's my
I got
joke.
a great joke.
And so that's
a tall blonde girl to be in the joke, because the joke's about a tall blonde girl. I need to make it,
because that's the thing about being the creator of your own stuff that I think some of us have found over time, that if we want to go back and retrofit certain things in as we're creating, we can do that, because it's almost never too late.
Right.
We don't have to get editorial approval. We don't have to go to the corporation. We don't have to worry about the licensing company. It's like,
and we can also do it in a way that makes sense for us,
right?
And not something that feels shoehorned in, which is what I think a lot of corporate comics do. You know,
because also the other thing is too, when you go to a show, and somebody comes up to you and says, you know, I didn't like this or I like that or whatever. You don't have the luxury of saying, well, my editor maybe put it in.
Yeah, right.
It's like, or, you know, you got to blame the corporation. You got to write to the joke aside.
I made me put those cats in this book. I told him I didn't want to put the cats in.
And so so you, whatever change you do, you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
But also you're fully accountable
to
your audience or whatever, because they know how to find you on
That's right.
Blue Sky or X or Instagram or whatever.
The buck stops here.
If you screw it up, they're gonna come at you, and so you got to be prepared to go. Well, you're right, little buddy.
That's right.
I'm a bad man.
This is an interesting question here. Agent says, since Marvel owns Malibu, does Marvel also own all the supporting companies like Eternity and the others?
That?
Yeah, Tom, please answer that one.
So most of the Eternity stuff was either licensed, so those rights went back to the licensing company, and the stuff that wasn't licensed was creator owned, as Roland can tell you, which meant that the rights to those characters go back to the creators.
Yeah. Yep. So Marvel owns the title Eternity, right?
Aircell and Adventure, although you know they've let those lapse, so they don't.
Yeah. So someone could probably jump up and start a new adventure comic.
Yeah. And so the only thing that was created company wide that they would own from that era would be the X-Mutants.
Yeah.
And the supporting characters. But everything else was creator owned. So R.A. Jones and Butch Burcham owned Dark Wolf.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah. Southern Squadron
was owned by David DeVries and Glenn
Australian. Yeah. I remember the Australian guys. Yeah. We had a fun time at San Diego that year we were there.
God. Hey, listen, and they're still fun. I chat with them on Facebook all the time.
Really? Yeah. Oh, that's kind of cool. We should get them on here sometime.
I think David makes independent horror films.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
And
that's kind of cool.
And Glenn does advertising art, and he still does the Phantom for the European market.
Really? I thought
he does Phantom comics.
I thought
Mike Manley?
No. Our buddy here, Alex Savick, did that.
There's a bunch of guys that still.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because apparently every 60 days or something, somebody in Europe publishes like 5,000 pages of new Phantom material.
Really?
And it's huge in like 4 countries in Europe.
Wow.
And maybe Argentina or something. But yeah.
Wow.
It's a big deal in places that we don't even know about.
Yeah. Isn't that funny how Europe has their whole set of comics, graphic novels that no one knows about over here?
Yeah. And some of them are great, and some of them you read them and it's like, well, that's European.
Right.
I see why we don't know about this.
It's like manga too. It's like I know there's a lot of manga fans out there, and everyone talks about Junji Ito,
right?
And looking at the art, it's beautiful. I read one called The Spirals. Y'all remember what that one's called?
No.
It's crazy stuff though, right?
It is. It was just I read the whole thing and I'm like, that was the weirdest piece of junk I've ever read. I have no idea what this is.
But the thing is millions of people love that stuff, and that's what's cool about it.
Like I said, the artwork's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I read through it and I'm like, this is gorgeous work.
How many times did somebody get stabbed in the eye?
Yeah, Uzumaki, aka also known as Spiral.
Okay,
right. And it's the weirdest thing up. It's just this spiral shapes take over this whole town. It drives people nuts. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I read the whole thing. It's like this thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is. Just these little spirals, right?
Wish I'd thought of that.
Yeah, I know, right? I can draw spirals. Actually, I can't draw. I can't draw like he draws.
No, no,
He's
he
a
does.
super talented artist, right?
No,
So
he's-
anybody out there, don't get offended if you love
here's
it.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, I don't connect with the material either,
Mm-mm.
but I can certainly appreciate that millions of people have come to it and
Right.
and said, well, this is my Star Wars, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think, and I've said this before. I think it's if you can. I mean, I would love to create anything
Yeah.
that connected with, like the guy
That
who
kind of
created Sherlock,
audience.
like the guy who created Sherlock Holmes, hated Sherlock Holmes. It's like, oh no, because it was too popular, and
Really?
it detracted from his, what he considered his real writing. It's like, oh man, I would have,
Real writing.
for me to create something that became as iconic as Sherlock Holmes,
Right.
or had millions of manga readers or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I would
I
kill
would
for
love that. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
love that. I would love the idea that there's a million people out there enjoying something that I almost always have fun writing it. And if you told me, hey, Roland, there's a million people out there who enjoy this thing that you've written, man, I would be flying high. I would be like, okay, I can go now.
Yeah, I would quit. I was just like, I'm not going to get a better high.
Agent Koepp says, is Demon going to get his own series or one shot? Well, that's a good question there, Agent.
Funny
Demon,
you should ask.
funny you should ask. Demon does have a miniseries out there that was drawn by Paul Pelletier in the 90s that probably you can still find it on eBay or Amazon or something like that. We've also got the collected, with Mr. Flormonti right there here, inked. We've also got the collected edition up on Indie Planet. And David Rios, who you've seen in the comments here, David is actually this close to finishing the colors for the whole thing. So we're going to release a fully colored version of it, and it looks beautiful. You should
And
see
again,
the work that David's doing.
Here's the thing: for my money, only two guys. Well, a lot of guys have drawn Demon over the years, and this is going to sound disrespectful to all of them. However, my two favorite guys on Demon are Mitch Bird and
Yeah.
Paul Pelletier.
Yeah.
I think those guys,
Yeah.
to me, those guys truly captured the essence of Demon. And so
the funny thing is, I never loved Mitch's Demon.
What?
I
Get out
know,
of here.
right? Because I don't think Mitch loved Demon. I don't think he liked him that much, and he was always doing stuff with him. And I'm like, what? Nah,
He kind of just drew him
listen-
like a dude in a werewolf suit.
yeah.
The way Mitch did it.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, and Tommy's heard me say this before. I think Mitch is one of the best unsung storytellers
absolutely
out there.
love that guy.
Because I've heard people say, "Oh, he can't draw girls," blah blah blah. I'm like,
No,
you know
he
what?
can draw with the big butt.
Mitch, Mitch is a storyteller. You can look at that artwork, and he just tells the story beautifully, right? And one of the Agent Koepp says, "Whatever happened to Mitch Bird?" Yeah, and that's part of the problem is that
next week.
yeah, he oh, you gonna see him next week?
Yeah, want to go home for Christmas?
Oh, nice. Are you going down to
I'm
Three
gonna
Alarm for
I
Sonic?
gotta find a bunch of that Mississippi horror book that I
Oh, nice. Did Mitch
Ask,
do some stuff with that?
do what?
Did Mitch do some stuff with that?
Not on that one. I've got a cover for the second one. God, you should see this cover. It's so cool.
Ask Mitch if he wants to do the monster comic you and I've been talking about.
What he's ready to do it. What
Okay,
he can figure out how to do it.
all right.
We got to talk about it. We got to get him back on it.
So yeah, but I absolutely loved what Paul did. One of the problems I always have with since we're talking about Demon, with artists, they always want to give him ears, and I keep telling them, no, he doesn't have ears. And I think it's one of those things that they have a hard time grasping. How do I draw this guy without ears?
Well,
Right?
also I think because people like the Batman suit, and that because Batman has the big ears,
Yeah, I guess so.
and I think artists always want to find something that's interesting. It's like you can't draw a Pinocchio story where his nose doesn't grow.
No, you can't.
No.
Yeah.
So
Ha! David says I'm coloring on it right now.
No,
That's
all
it.
right.
There you go. Yeah. So the other thing, Agent Koepp, is that Demon is showing up in. I think I have some up here. The Silverline team up story that, and the funny story behind that is he wasn't going to be there. This was just supposed to be Miss Fury and Champion, and then an artist that we all know said, "Hey, me and Pete want to draw Demon. Can you put Demon in the story?" And I'm like,
Pete does it's not Demon too.
"Oh, Pete, I love Pete's Demon. Yeah,
That's
Pete
right.
does it. Pete does a fantastic.
Pete does.
Demon.
Okay, so the third Demon artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about
it. He kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's one panel. He's huge. I'm like, okay. But you know what? The thing
I
about
love it that way.
it
He's
looks
the whole-
cool. It
Well,
looks cool.
he's a great supporting character.
Yeah.
He is a
To
and
bring
he's
this
fun
all back to
write.
the topic.
Yeah, and he's fun to write because he is kind of that natural. Talking about that he has to fit, right?
Right.
And he doesn't fit, but he fits, and
me-
it works.
To me, because I'm an old person, what he reminds me of most is back when Marvel's character the Beast was fun.
Yeah.
And I think there's a couple issues that Tom Sutton did in like Amazing Adventures or something, where the big blue furry guy wasn't, the angry duplicitous monster. He was really like, well, I'm blue and I'm furry and I'm going to have some fun with it. And that's
Oh, my stars and garters.
right. It's
yeah. And it's never been a secret of mine that he was the blue furry funny beast is a big inspiration for Demon. So
yeah, but you took it. I mean, only old people like me are going to be able to put that together because you took it into a much different place.
Yeah.
Than where Beast went.
Yeah. I'm not sure we can answer this question that David Ace Gutierrez had, but I'm going to pose it anyway. He says, which character do you think has the weakest supporting character cast, and how would you fix it? And the reason I say I'm not sure we can answer, I'm not sure we can come up with the character. Who do y'all think the weakest supporting?
I don't know.
I mean, I think it's hard to think of a weak supporting cast because we always think of the good ones.
Yeah.
So
And then it was a bad enough book that you didn't want to read it. You know who the supporting cast was.
I would say Howard the Duck had a terrible supporting cast.
Oh, I don't even remember anybody in the Howard the Duck books.
Because it was Howard the Duck and it was Beverly, his girlfriend.
Beverly, yeah.
And it was mostly just him riffing on popular culture stuff. It really wasn't. So I think either I think Howard functions best as a loner, grumpy neighbor than he does as a.
So the second part of David's question was, how would you fix it? If you think he's got a weak supporting cast, how would you fix it? What would you do?
What I love is the Howard the Duck that appears in the Marvel movies.
Yeah,
where he's just sitting there drinking a cocktail and making a smart aleck comment. And I think that's sort of where I see him.
Yeah. Maybe Howard the Duck is a supporting character.
If I was, I think that's it. I think it was. There's a story where I think Howard the Duck was hanging out with a barbarian, like a Conan type of character, and I think that it would be great if you had a Conan character who was the star, and then Howard was the supporting character.
Yeah.
I don't think not every character needs to be a star.
True.
Yeah.
And I think having a talking, cigar smoking, gin swilling duck as your sidekick, as your supporting character, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. And that's a good, interesting concept too. Is like how many characters that have their own book shouldn't are just supporting characters. You know, I mean, I can come up with a handful off the top of my head. You know,
well, I think just throwaway characters that went crazy, kind of like Deadpool or whatever. He kind of seemed at the beginning kind of just a Spider-Man-y looking dude.
Well, how many from Spider-Man's?
His gallery of bad guys.
His gallery went and had their own. Ended up with their own. Cloak and Dagger did. Punisher did.
Right.
True.
The
Hunter guy.
Craven the Hunter.
Craven.
Yeah. Oh, that movie's out. Anybody seen that?
No,
I was supposed to go see it
haven't
last
heard
week with our lawyer guy, and it was just so busy I didn't get to go see it.
So my thing is I have no confidence in the Marvel movies from Sony that don't feature Spider-Man.
Yeah, me too.
And so it's gonna, because I think I love the Spider-Man movies so well. I love the Tom Holland ones especially, that the Venom and Craven movies, even though they seem like they tie into that universe, they're so different in tone and style that it's almost like they don't belong.
Well, and I'm kind of with you though. It's like, so when I think of Craven the Hunter, I think of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
When I think of, Moebius the living vampire, I think of Spider-Man.
Oh, man.
When I think of
Or
Venom,
Sandman.
I think of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I get that they want to establish these characters, but give me Spider-Man for 15 minutes to establish that.
Because here's what it sounds like to me. And again, I'm not privy to all the inside information. What it sounds like is that somebody at Sony has said, "Oh, we can keep the rights to these movies a lot longer.
Yeah.
We can't make a Spider-Man movie all the time, but we can sort of tease out the rights and hold on to them if we make a Craven movie, if we make a Madam Web movie, if we make and to me, once I think that's the problem, I'm not interested in your movie because you're making it from a good place.
Right.
You're making it from a place of money, which is fine, but I'm not interested then.
You're probably not putting 100% into the movie.
Right. What I really like, I would rather, who's the guy that did The Dark Knight? I can't think of his name.
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan. I would rather see Christopher Nolan doing anything because I know it's probably going to be weird.
Yeah.
And it's going to make me think a lot, but I know it's coming from a good place of like, he's interested in making a good movie and trying to tell a story. So I'm with him. But a corporate movie like Venom, I'm not interested in it because it sounds like it's made around a conference table.
Yeah.
And not made by people that care.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yeah. I like that. Made around the conference table. How much truth is that? Yeah, Agent Koepp says, where'd he go? The Madam Web, which I have not seen. The Madam Web movie should have never been a main character. She should have always been a supporting character.
Right.
And my other problem with it is, I remember Madam Web from the comics, and she was an old lady. I look at this TV shows and I'm like, wait, who's that?
Who's
That's
that
not
old
Madam
lady?
Web. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was young.
But I'd be okay with it, with them changing the age or even the gender or whatever, if the story made sense and I liked the story.
If you put Spider-Man in.
Right. Because
it's like, I need Spider-Man.
The
thing about Craven the Hunter is that his motivation, this goes back to the organic thing, is his motivation was to hunt Spider-Man.
Yep.
And that's what made it interesting because Spider-Man was his most dangerous game. Spider-Man was his big elephant. Spider-Man was his rhinoceros or whatever. And so it made it interesting because Spider-Man has all the powers that Craven the Hunter doesn't. And how can Spider-Man escape all the traps? That's what makes it interesting.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Craven hanging out at his own house eating soup. And
some problem going on. Yeah, we only want to see him when he's fighting Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Hunting poachers.
Yeah. No, I don't. Oh no, I've got to save the white rhinoceros or whatever.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
Look, they stole his horn.
Also, if I'm watching a movie and my first thought is, hey, this movie could use some Spider-Man, then you've lost me.
Yes. Yeah. David Rios says, the same with Agatha Harkness and Destiny. Both were older ladies. Yeah.
Right.
When I saw the lady show up in the Scarlet Witch, I'm like, that's not Agatha Harkness.
Yeah. Did you even watch the thing that?
I did not. Because I didn't care.
I've had a couple of people said it's really good. You should watch it. And I'm like, I watched a little bit. And I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. See, I didn't love her in the Scarlet Witch, WandaVision, whatever it was. I didn't love her in that. So I'm like, I don't care.
You might as well make a Franklin Richards TV show for all I care.
Yeah. All right. So our clock tells me we've run a good while here. Any final thoughts on support characters?
No, we hit it pretty good.
I think we hit it pretty hard. I think the key is it's the supporting character is only as good as the story is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as the main character is. It's the same as Same as the villain. Your villain is only going to be as good as the hero. So everything goes back to the organic story.
Yeah, and it needs to make sense. All right, you guys got any shows coming up here by the end of the year? Tom?
I would say that I don't have a show, but I would say that everybody should check out the Silverline Comics on Blue Sky.
Yep.
And follow us for news and updates.
And subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
To all of those places. Mike, what about you? You doing any shows?
Oh heck no, it's dead here. Nobody's doing cons here right now.
Okay.
February 1st.
Yep.
I know two guys who are going to be at a show.
Yeah. I was going to say, Tommy and I have a show in February.
February, yeah.
Do you remember that, Tommy?
Yeah, I keep popping up in the timeline, so I won't forget. I've got probably the week of Christmas. I'll be at 3 Alarms one of the days. I'll have to post on the thing. It depends on if I can get down there or not. But I know I got to sign a bunch of books, so I've got to. Maybe I'm not going to be set up, but I've got to get down there to sign a bunch of books.
We'll take you some pictures while you're there. We can always post them up to our social media as well.
That's in the Biloxi Gulfport area.
Yeah, Biloxi. Yeah, good independent comic shop there, guys. Yeah. Agent Cub says, "Are you guys still on Facebook?" We are still on Facebook. In fact, we are streaming to 2 different pages there today. So
I was thinking it was working.
Yeah, it looks like we got our. I don't know what was wrong last week, but it looks like whatever was wrong, we got them working. So today we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, Twitch, and we're on Rumble. So let's see. And most of you guys are watching us from Twitter, from X.
There we go.
So yep. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Any other news before I go over the calendar here, guys? Anybody got anything?
On Amazon Video, watch if you want a Christmas movie, go watch for whatever reason it's still out at the theaters, but you can go watch Red One. It's on Amazon Video.
Oh,
yeah.
the
Really?
Santa Claus superhero movie.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's stupid, but it's really good. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Is it as fun as Dickie Persnickety or whatever that was?
Oh God, I love that movie. It's so good. I knew you would like that, Tom. I love that movie.
What movie?
Oh, fun! You got to go watch it.
Dickie Persnickety?
I forget what it's called. It's something like that.
In a movie. Yeah.
I don't know that
Well,
one.
I mean, it's got a bunch of other big guys in it too, but yeah, that's a good one, Tom. That's so funny. That's so bad. I love his rock hard rod. Oh God, that's so funny.
Could it use more Spider-Man though?
On Tuesday. Hold on, where'd the description go? On Tuesday, that Silverline show on Tuesday, you're going to have a fireside chat, reflections on our comic career, and an FAQ. The gang sends off the year thinking about comic careers and the lessons we've learned. They also answer frequently asked questions from the audience. That's on Tuesday. On Wednesday, a Silverline casting call. Join the Wednesday Wham team as they select the dream cast of some of Silverline's heroes and villains.
Nice.
And next week, we're going to talk about what are Santa's superpowers. As we prepare for the arrival of St. Nick, the crew from Silver Sunday talk about the Elder Elf and ask the question, what are his powers anyway?
He gets so fat that it takes 8 reindeer to carry him up in the sky.
So one of my family's favorite movies, Christmas movies, is The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. We absolutely love
watched it, all 3 of them twice already because of Renee.
Have you really? So that's next week. And until then, remember to wait a minute. I gotta find my.
Dun, 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 dun.
Make mine Silverline. Good night, everyone.
Hi, I'm Greg Horn. Make mine Silverline.